It's the 10th of June 2024, so usually after World Sex Day this is when they step up the action. Well, they're doing it today, which is normal, but the problem is they were doing it nastily on World Sex Day. Since 2021 onwards, all this action has been stepped up on that specific day. Before that time they laid off with this action because they were stirring trouble, and it caused a lot of trouble back in the days when it was occurring. So today, Valentine's Day and World Sex Day, was easing with this fucking action I'm trying to mention. Yeah, even this road's pretty busy, but they've just broken the record with the setups, and I'm trying to fucking get to the information I'm trying to say, if I fucking can. Right, so as I walk out, there's two people on smartphones, then there's sexual cars, and 4 black and blue cars coming up the road I'm on. Knife-shaped car tied at the bottom of the road. I hope I fucking callous hand now. In the time period I'm at the crossing, the government want to set up about 600 vehicles. So it takes 4 minutes or around that sort of time to cross over the road. Fire, the first thing being timed was when I'm still actually walking there after the black knife-shaped car. So we have like a smashed up Van Damme lorry that looks like smashed. A symbolism to apply smashed up everything, like your bones smashed to fucking pieces. Your skull and bone type of vehicle that makes a suggestion of smashed bones after that. A bloody glass, smashed glass looking van after that. Take into account I've already got 6 photographs of setups just coming from there to where I am now. So then we have a ripping you to fucking pieces van, ripping you to pieces, sorry, which is a paper shredder van. That seems to be quite a frequent vehicle because there's several types of that one. But because it's people don't bother changing the name, they leave it on there for 10 years. So when the company changes, it's just an old vehicle with the same source of information that's been left on there. Right, so the next thing I want to mention is there's 17 pushchairs all pushed up me, all of them single mothers under the age of 20. Then they're smashing drain covers over. When I get across the first section of the road, there's another 100 cars that forces me to wait at the next area, and I have to wait there about a minute and a little bit over. Being choked by catalytic converter. The smell of vinegar mixed with the smell of like rubbing 2 stainless steel knives against watercress and then smelling it, but 100 times stronger. Nothing I can do about it. The government like their catalytic converters. When I get on the path, there's about 80 people. This is record breaking, by the way. Record breaking twice over to the previous record of setups. When we come to it all, that is. Roughly 10 threats and people photographing me. Been mistaken as Savan, being threatened to be fucking smashed in with a knife, burgled, to be beaten to fucking death, to be beaten up. Although there's been no action that's taken, and all threats have been said nastily, but not to a point where it's getting out of hand. Right, so there's an ear-shattering loud bike to tell me to fuck a bicycle or a motorbike. Right, so the next thing is, with the government, they're dribbling bow whistles at me. I managed to go in the shop and the shop is actually empty, which has surprised me. There's only about 50 people in the shop. I buy what I need to get. As I walk out of that shop, oh, but before that, I forgot this. There's drain covers hit over, there's a sexual car. There's a buggy that forced me onto the road. 2 buggies coming my way. And a catalyst. Then I have to can't fucking breathe, hang on. And then obviously there were 6 cars that were reversing out at me. All timed in a logical order as I pass each car in a controlled, deliberate looking pattern. I didn't film it. Yeah, when I walk out, straight as I walk out, a single mother with a buggy pushing into me one side of the shop, single mother with single buggy the other way, and then I look like someone who sexually abused me as a child tying to an erection straight ahead of me before 7 cars reverse at me. All in order. Again. Black and blue, white, sick, grey, white, sexual car timed. My willy shoots up, so a motorbike timed. Then you've got the van that says sorry, I'm not really supposed to say this, but they need to stop doing this, the government. But it says that basically, because this offends my father, but it says, you know, his name, and it says, "Is your man," you know. It shouldn't be happening because it can cause offence. I mean, my dad's been in a right mood with me about this van before, but now they're doing it every day. My dad told me off about roughly a year ago about it. They laid the action down slightly and they stopped timing that specific van name. Well, quite literally, it happens every day now, especially since just after the start of April 2024. So they really are causing trouble now. So then there's another smashed glass vehicle, a FedEx van, and there's a FedEx van actually when I was at the crossing as well, forgot to mention that. Then after that there was a Daisy's car, a loud bike tying to an erection just before that again, sick red, about 10 people on their phones in my direction, no threats by the 20 plus people that were walking my way, but there was people that were posing as if they were photographing me. One of them was an Indian person, and the other 3 people that I was suspecting of photographing me were the bearded type people. Once I got past that, I had to cross the road because of started vans next to the house, which has happened about 300 times in a deliberate pattern, so it's every time I've come up here nearly. They always cause a car to be started on that road for some fucking reason. So then we have a sexual car, a grey sexual car in my direction with light on. A seagull tells me to fuck someone that sexually abused me as a child. Black white car. Set up with a load of vehicles and wording on vehicles to say that I'm a sick bastard and that I'm being ripped to fucking pieces with that ripping you to pieces paper shredder coming back the other way. Then I'm photographed again, and then I start the recordings, as I mentioned on the first recording, going over on that bridge, and as I pass on that bridge there's at least 10 cars that were colliding, but initially one car had to wait before I got around the corner before they slammed the traffic hard at me again. Then after that, when I walked up the hill, there was a couple of people making spastic noises, and then they kind of look like someone who sexually abused me as a child tying to an erection, and then the seagull goes ha 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 ha. And then after that, there's a baby bounced about in a sling on a bicycle with a sexual female following that. And then obviously I make it to where I am now. The road below seems to go suddenly really quiet, as you can hear, since I've been doing that recording, but it's only gone suddenly quiet since I've come up here to do this recording after branching off the hill to mention all these problems. At the catalytic converter hot point, or what I nicknamed the hot point, there's 2 old people, you know, they're sort of feeling sorry for me, saying, well, not being funny, but children have sex with each other. And then after that, they time a got a problem van with a question mark at the catalytic converter hot point, and then sick Baxter van, which can be interpreted as sick bastard. Right, so I got an itchy bumhole because obviously it's hot weather and sunny and whatever. And then there's a train time, think nothing of it, and then they need to time a loud bike times that itchy bumhole. What's wrong? Got a problem t-shirt in my direction. Right, I'm at Barrack. I've just passed 2 people that I thought I recognised, but they're definitely not the people that I know. One, I know it's not, because this person doesn't like me anyway and it's not really worth mentioning. Amy Weston. There's a lookalike to her as walking past on this path. Obviously she had a child, she wasn't a single person or anything like that, you know, and she wasn't very fresh, you know, and she looks about 30ish, so I thought it might, I don't know how she looks, how sexy she looks now, but I believe she's gone into this sort of zombie attraction now because of her age. But obviously it wasn't, but this person looked identical to Amy. But the thing that nearly made me jump out of my skin and shock the fucking living daylights out of me is I thought I saw my father. I thought, what, is he visiting Yeovil? So I thought, I was about to say, alright Mike, you know, and when this person passed I realised it wasn't, But this person that actually came in my direction looked literally, quite literally, identical to my father. So I thought it was worth mentioning. But I got another tick on me I've got to remove. Yeah, they keep on landing on me for some reason. It can be every day, and you can have several a day, even if you're not camping. But because I'm just in time, they're the tick hands, you see. They like my blood. They think it's tasty. But anyway, I'm going to sort that out. Right, I'm on a little country lane I usually go on. I've had to change directions to the initial direction I wanted to go because there's a roadblock with about 200 grannies and old men. So there might be an event or something, I do not know. There's a few things I wanted to mention I couldn't mention earlier because I was in a busy areas. But they've had this sick cunt gothic looking black jumper with bloody red and white writing when I was trying to cross the road earlier, the first road, just coming down from my place, on top of what I've already mentioned. And then there's a tag, like a sticker, that is in the back of a car on the right hand side in the bottom corner, which said sexuality is the cause of this problem. There is definitely other setups and other worded vehicles while waiting 4 minutes at the traffic lights for the 600 vehicles to pass, roughly 300 on each side. That's just a rough number, not the exact amount of cars or vehicles that are on that road. They're just packing traffic. So basically, it's not gridlock, it's moving, but there's no spaces between every car, if you get what I'm saying. But only just moving. Any heavier, it would come to gridlock. Just a little bit heavier. Just another 10, 20 cars on each side of the road, you'd probably be having cars that are put to a stop. That's how heavy it is this morning. That is something else that I've noticed. They try and build the traffic up or cause the traffic to be as heavy as it possibly can, but they do it in a way where it's almost about going to build up and traffic jams, but they always seem to make it as busy as they possibly can without causing traffic jams, roadblocks, or stopping the traffic. So what I'm trying to say is everywhere I'm going at the moment, they're trying to cause as much traffic as they can possibly put in my direction, but so that the traffic is moving, if you get what I'm saying. So it's as busy as you can possibly get it with the traffic moving before it goes into gridlock and road blocks and everything else. They seem to be doing that at the moment, but they're doing that on every single road. So everywhere I go, even on the country lanes, they seem, the government or the elite or the creator God, whoever's turned against me and wants to force all this action against me, is trying to make it as busy as they can possibly do it without causing it to go into traffic jams or anything like that, but to the maximum amount of cars you can put in someone's direction before it comes to a stop. Right, I've just been in trouble. I'm currently still at Barrack, but I'm at the other end, so I'm next to a bridge where there's water, just to chill out for 5 minutes, thinking what to do because my day's being ruined with organised force against me and criminal action being put in my path. But yeah, I went to photograph basically a coffin that has a massive doll in it. So it's a made coffin, not a proper coffin, and it's got a doll in there that's about 3 foot high with the age. It looks like it's a girl aged about 8 years of age. And then obviously they were carrying other bits and pieces as well. They had some round balls in a basket that they were carrying, you know, those plastic balls. So whether it's an event or whatever's taking place, and obviously they had a clown on a stick, a big stick that they were carrying. I'm not exactly sure what this is all about, but yeah, they had a go at me because I went to photograph the coffin with a doll in there that looks like it's only aged about 8, and I thought to myself, it's not a person, it's not, you know, it's not a child, you know. And I wasn't actually photographing it because of that. I was photographing it because I'm not very happy with the suggestion. But unfortunately, at the time I was photographing it, because I'm still on the first battery, that battery's gone flat, and I'm using the batteries from yesterday because I haven't charged up the batteries in any of my cameras. So I've got to be careful on how I use the camera today, because these setups are being fucking done nastily today. Well, anyway, because the camera switched off and I had to change a battery, I had to say sorry to this person. But it didn't stop there, because after I passed, they were saying that I was severe and saying I'm a child rapist and saying he's being beaten to death and all the rest of it. And you had a couple of rough people out the, roughly about 30 people that were passing carrying these things, walking to this event that I believe is what was blocking the road earlier with these 200 people on there. Well, it might not be, but I might go and have a look. Just over 15 years ago, this would be a subject I wouldn't even mention on the internet, or mention to anyone, because I consider it to be really personal. But because, like the loud bike issue, where they're timing bikes to erections every few seconds, you know, I've had to mention it. Not for the fact that I want to, or embarrass myself or anything like that, but, you know, when it goes on and on and on and on, with up to 1,000 loud bikes to erections per day for 6 weeks persistently, every day, or time going to the toilet, eventually you just fucking explode to a point where you've got to mention it, even though it's not something you'd ever mention. And now it's a regular thing I mention all the time. But it's not done because I'm stupid or anything like that. It's done because I'm extremely pissed off about it. You know, it's all the time. Well, they've been doing this lately as well. Apart from getting me caught going to the toilet, whether it's a piss or whether it's shit, whether it's in the open countryside, whether it's in my house or whether it's my flat, or whether it's in a public loo, it's all the fucking time. Well, today they're doing it with the loud bike. So, time for going for a shit, they've timed an 8 times loud bike time doing that. And then when I wipe my ass with a bit of water on tissue, because I got a sore ass because the water's hard, it's not like it used to be, and everywhere you walk you get a sore back end, they need to time another 3 loud bikes after that. Right, I can't get up there either, which is the place I usually walk. It's crowded with cars and people. Right, I spent the last 3 minutes trying to take a picture of a porch light that's about 1940, something like that. But obviously God wants to cause every fucking picture to come out. And then obviously, I can't do it now because the sun's out, but yeah, 3 minutes and not a single picture's come out. God doesn't want me to get the photo, won't fucking take it. Simple as that. He wants to be an evil little bastard. Right, there's a Christian person that's just walked past me, just a bit older than me, so about 50-ish. And yeah, he's wearing a t-shirt saying, "Give grace to the Lord." Well, I just want to mention something there, because let's mention all the other Bible verses that are going against me, like masturbating before marriage, reuniting with your girlfriend when you're still in your teens. You know, when it comes to old mans, young men will see visions, old men will dream dreams. So basically God's telling you, when you're an older man, it's unlikely you're going to get a partner. But if you masturbate before marriage, you go to the fire of hell. If you commit suicide, you go to the fire of hell because it's a detestable sin, or something like that. I can't remember what it says in the Bible because I don't read it. I don't know much about the Bible, but I know the Bible is against me with hundreds of Bible verses. It goes against people that have been sexually abused and have bad lives and never had anyone, and been stopped from getting sex or whatever in their whole life. Anyway, give grace to the Lord. There's 4 people I know the name of that has the name Grace, and there's several YouTube people with the name Grace as well. Anything from children having rapture dreams to old ladies, and there's also a lady called Grace at the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall in Yeovil as well, down at Earl Street. So there's quite a few Graces that I know, but all those Graces are not applicable. None of them like me, not one of them. So that's another thing where Christ is fucked up on. Out of all the Graces that I know, probably the nearest person that likes me is the old fogey that's named Grace, which I can't stand the look of and don't fancy. I just like her as a person, that's it. So, you know, God's twisted everything against me, violating me in all angles. I didn't see this timed in time for me to capture the full information of what it said on the side of the van, but I think it said the big wheels have turned. I'm not 100% sure. And then after that there was a red, sick, white colour car. Right, in the last 5 minutes or so there's about 10 cars that I've had to put up with, choking me out with a catalytic converter, and I've been thrown off course again because a tractor's blocking the road. Now I don't know if this is because of the event or because of something else, but I've been put down in a different direction again, so I'm just doing this video while I can. There's a little stream, and on the other side of the stream, it's not where I am at the moment because I passed that area because I can't do recording or mention anything why I'm in that area, otherwise it won't go down too well. But there's 3 girls aged somewhere between 11 and 14, and they're just sniffing this PVA glue. Now, people sniffing glue is unheard of. I haven't heard people sniffing glue for 20 years. I knew it used to happen in the 90s and the 1980s or whatever, because people used to do that. They used to take ecstasy. Ecstasy used to be more popular than smoking weed and whatever else, but people actually sniffing glue, I've not basically seen that for 20 years, or heard of it for 20 years. This PVA glue is a glue that they use in schools, so anyone can use it. It's like There's a white glue where you put a little paste brush in, and then you paste cut out pictures from magazines and stick it to white card and do that sort of thing in schools. Back in 1993 or whatever, or before then, that's what I was doing at school. So, and they use the same sort of glue, but I didn't actually know until later on that that glue actually gets you high, and that's what those girls are doing over there. I've had to change directions to go back to where initially I was going to go, where that tractor was stopping me get down, because there's roughly 20 sets of people, or just under 20 sets of people that are coming down, and you can see that there's rough people, you know, sort of bearded types of people, you know, the really nasty or hard druggy type people, you know, with their sexual soft skin, smooth, sexy looking girlfriends in their teens and early 20s or whatever, holding their babies and pushing their chairs and whatever else, and I'm just not in a mood for it. I can't be done with that today, so I'm going back in the other direction. You know, there's quite a lot of people. I mean, I say it's roughly just under 20 people, but this is like families, crowds of people, and I don't want to be photographed being mistaken as Savannah or getting threats, or, you know, just people sneezing in my face. You know, I'm just not in a bloody mood for it, so I'm going to see if I can get past that tractor if it's not there now. Well, I've made it to the road. So we've had having a smashing time van, and that started car, so I was waiting to go past. Hang on. Having a smashing time is the first van that was timed, and then we had a bones van, which has got a picture of a cross skull and bones on it. Just says bones on the side of the van. Then there's a black and blue car, a car that says sexy purple with tinted black windows. That's what it says on the car, sexy purple, and it's a kind of sexual looking car that's half sexual looking as well. And then obviously you had that started car that was going to stop me getting back in the direction that I was initially going to go down earlier, where the tractor was stopping me. But that car's just moved on, so I'm managing to do what I want to do. Right, if I can get my fucking save out all this fucking traffic being fucking slammed in my face every few seconds, I will tell you what I've just experienced. So we've had an up the age van followed by a toffee van. Now I'm not very happy about that, because I use the term toffs for someone that's negative looking. So when I'm referring to these negative types that look like they've got tomato ketchup in their mouth and rotted teeth, and laugh in a backwards stupid way that looks stupid, and pose as a zombie and have that goofy look, and have oily skin that's got rashes all over it, or looks like it's infected with shingles, or, you know, looks like a person who's got a disease where it's so disgusting and unhygienic and unwashed or whatever, and the type with black greasy hair and misted up glasses and gizmo eyes like the gremlin eyes on the film Gremlins, or have that sort of disgusting look and a fat build, or, you know, that sort of attraction, where I nicknamed them the toffs, because the word toffs comes from something, but I can't remember what it was. It is to do with sexuality. I can't remember if it's someone that uses that term for the munter type, or whether it comes from a name of like, I can't remember where it comes from, but it came from somewhere, and that's why I use that interpretation to mean the same thing. It literally means the same as what I've mentioned in the past. I use it for that interpretation, for basically a similar suggestion to what it initially means anyway. T-O-F-F-S, toffs. So I just had an Abri van past, and basically it's telling me that they're absolutely stupid, the government, or the creative god. They're basically saying that Lisa is an adult. Yeah, Lisa Pike is an adult. Lisa is not my type. She's what I nicknamed the toffs. I don't like insulting people, but the government are telling me that they want to try and rub it in, saying she's a single mother, you've got to be with a single mother called Lisa. But they're being donut brains about it. They're being small-minded, they're being thick about it. They're not using their intelligence, they're just fucking... sick colour car. There's a picture I have of Lisa, which I took off her Facebook and got printed out at a local library quite a few years ago, so it's about a decade ago, or just under a decade ago. And I couldn't fancy her then, because she was negative. Well, she's somewhere between the age of 28 and 32 back at that time. And when I was showing people that picture, nearly every single person I showed that picture to has said that she's not a very good looking type, or they don't fancy her. When it comes to people in authority, I've showed it to the social worker, and she said everyone's entitled to their own type. And she says not everybody takes to that type, she agrees. And but it said you shouldn't be insulting people at the same time, because everyone, you know, they can't help the way they look and all that sort of stuff. When I showed it to my doctor, the one who's retired now, he had some sympathy, but he doesn't like insulting people, and he has to look at it in a way a doctor would look at it as well. So basically said it'd be better if you don't show that picture around, or say that you don't fancy this person or whatever, because it could cause a bit of trouble if that person ever found out. And then he said, I'm not saying that she's the prettiest looking lady ever, but I guess it depends on what that person's preference in taste in women is. But as far as you're concerned and what you're saying, I can see where you're coming from, that you don't take to that sort. And he said, but you don't have to go with her anyway, do you? Because, you know, there's plenty of women out there that you can choose from. You shouldn't be dictated to go with what your enemies are telling you to go with if that story's true, sort of thing. So he did have some sympathy with me then, but obviously he's retired today, so he actually agreed that some people don't take to that sort. But in modern times, in today's community, I'm being told, and I've even been chased with a knife because I won't fancy this Lisa. The battery went flat, so I'm lost where I am, but yeah, I've been attacked nearly. I've been chased with a knife, and I've had extreme eye trouble and burning from possible energy weapons because I won't fancy this specific Lisa Pike. Now, I don't like insulting people because obviously Lisa's a nice person. She's just not my type. And also, even if she was my type, or she was a sexy blonde woman like all my enemies have been with soft skin and really sexual appearance and where they can enjoy sex with that type of person, although that I'd fancy that type of person if she looked like that, she would still have the reverse interests of what I'm into. The only thing she has in common that I like, and that's natural wildlife, you know, British wildlife, British animals, cats and dogs, hamsters, rats and bats, and you know, all that sort of thing. And those animals I just mentioned are my top sort of animals. So she's into celebrity gossip, nightclubs. I'm not sure about sports, I've never really looked it up, but to my knowledge she does like some form of sports. She likes arcades. You know, if I'm on holiday I don't mind going to the arcade or having a drink in a bar, but in the times I've done that in recent years, when I visited places with my mum and my brother, people have kicked off at me thinking I'm this and that, and it's not really my sort of thing. My way of life is more different to Lisa's. Lisa has a different way of life, and she's one of those that prefers, like I said, soaps on television, cooking programmes. She's not the sort that likes going walking in the countryside, which I like doing. She's not the sort that's into jungle music, or she's into stuff like the main chart music. She's actually into rock and heavy metal, which she never used to be into when she was at school. If she was, I never heard about it. So she's into that music, and that's the sort of music I can't stand. My sort of music is sort of new age meditation. I'm into the sort of new age stuff anyway, like, you know, tarot cards, spiritism and all that. She's not into any of that. I'm not sure when it comes to Christianity how it works with her religion, but I'm not really religious as such, but I go to these Christian places and I respect Jesus Christ, even though I'm not really religious as such, but more new age and spiritual with me. She's not into any of that. She's not into forests and woodland walks or anything like that. She's more the type that goes to the beach on a sunny day and would go to Spain on holiday at a hotel balcony with a swimming pool outside. She has a different way of life to me. Her interests are different, and obviously where I like taking pictures of stormy seas or whatever, if I was to go somewhere and a lighthouse beacon going and, you know, a rig moving about and, you know, all the horns going off because of the warnings, because of the storms in the sea, I'd like to be at a place like that on a evening at dusk, you know, or whatever, where she wouldn't be into that. She'd be into stuff to totally the reverse of that, you know. Although I haven't been to a sea where it's been stormy for a long, long time, and I've never been to a place where there's been a rig, and I've never been to a place where a lighthouse has been on in a storm. But that'd be the sort of thing I'd be into if that was the case. And also, the depth of my music is a lot deeper than what she's into, so she wouldn't like any of my stuff. I mean, I've lost all my jungle music over time. There's either been break-ins where I've had my stuff stored. What I say is radiation frequencies or signals in the air, which could be energy weapons, I do not know, but something has caused damage to all my discs and I lost all my music, all the discs. When I was copying my vinyl off, when I had about 30 or 40 different jungle vinyls, possibly more. Today, that'd be in the thousands. But back then it was a lot cheaper. You were paying no more than 35 quid for the rarest of hardcore jungle tracks that was released in 1993 or 1994, just to get that B-side track of that really good track or whatever it was. Now I saved it on 16 gigabyte USB sticks, which were orange ones I bought from Curry's in 2008 area. In the same time period I took all these records off. Well, later on I gave all my records to a Facebook friend, and he did a load of mixes with the records, and I said he could keep them. Even though I said he could keep them, I'm not too bothered about him keeping them, because I only bought them for the actual tracks. But later on I discovered that a lot of the tracks that I tried to rescue, ones I thought that weren't damaged when I went to replay those tunes after I fell out with this person, they were literally lost. But I did know about the ones on the orange M-Tech sticks, but I didn't know that literally every track was lost. I lost every single track. I've had to shortcut my bestest tracks, the ones that I could save, and there's only these tracks, the ones that I saved. Lee and Guange Too Deep on Legend Records, Guange and Spinback The Execution on Legend Records, and I had to shortcut the Alliance First Impressions, but it doesn't matter with that one because it's from Picture Disc Record and it sounds a bit fuzzy and airy because it's from a Picture Disc Record, so that one had to be cut at 2 minutes 46 seconds, and I sped it up slightly because it sounds better slightly sped up than it does at a slow speed, or I just have a preference to that. So Lee and Guange Too Deep and Execution, I managed to rescue those, but they were both shortcut. The Execution I have is only 4 minutes and seconds long, and Lee and Guange Too Deep I had to cut that as well because even those tracks were damaged because of where it was I was saving them or whatever. But they survived the test of time through all these energy weapons, USB sticks breaking, hard drives wiping off for no reason or packing up. You know, all this through time. There's roughly 35 or just under 35 jungle tracks that I managed to rescue, and some of these tracks that I rescued I had to re-buy some of these CDs, like Jungle Techno 8 or Jungle Splash Takes You Into Jungleism for the Inner Strength track by DJ Solo and DJ Rossi or Rosie or whatever. And then obviously Jungle Business Volume 1 for Coda Space Tech and Orca Intellect. You know, I've had to do things like that, you know, just to rescue specific tracks. And the battery went flat again. So yeah, I managed to gather up just under 35 tracks, or around 35 tracks altogether. And then I did a load of recordings of that disc, which is only about half a disc long, of those tracks, and I put a couple of dark ambient ones on there as well, which I nicknamed the Mystical Selection of Music. And they're the only jungle tracks I have today. So I've lost all my music thanks to the issue of whatever's caused me to lose it, from energy weapons to CDs breaking to break-ins where my stuff has been stored to anything else. And it's all on sexuality when I've never had anyone. Now, people know I don't take to the negative type, so they're just making sure that I get older and older and older to a point where it's going to be too late, and that the only option to be left is to look at people that are twice as ugly and twice the age of people, and twice as and twice as stale as people that sexually abused me as a child for first ever sexual relationship, and I'm not very happy about it. But people tell me if I don't go with that type, or people that are really used and really stale and are single mothers and fuck thousands of people that might have diseases and HIV, if I don't go with that type, I'm known as a real sick bastard. Yet all my enemies, they've had sex when they're in their teens, 20s and 30s. And all these people that are setting up all this criminal action, like the government, the elite, or the creator God, even to the creator God's done it. Any of those people that have done it, they've all had sex with people in their teens, 20s or 30s, and they leave me as a sick cunt if I don't have anyone over the age of 37. But the problem is I've not had nothing in my whole life, and I'm being told to go for someone twice the age of someone who sexually abused me as a child, as I mentioned many times, twice the age of what everybody else have had sex with, if not more. Actually, there's probably people that have had sex that are literally 30 plus years younger than I am at this minute. You know, so, you know, it's not good, is it? And then obviously I'm being told I'm a sick cunt if I don't go with a negative type. And then when I look at people that are sexual, so there's one disabled woman that she's a foreign woman. She's aged about 60 with grey hair, and take into account there's only about 1 in 10,000 people that age that have really soft skin and smooth appearance and whatever. And she had this like funny eyes attraction because she had a mental problem. Well, she still had a sexy body. I mean, really smooth, you know, smooth as anything. And for her age, you think not even an 18-year-old woman would have that body sort of type. But the problem is around about the age of 67-ish, or 64 on some people, out of those rarities where even they go into negative attraction. And I can't take to that sort. But I'm being told I'm a sick cunt, or if you fancy anyone that's got that sort of attraction at 60, that you're a sick cunt, or it's paedophile attraction. And that's without ever having anyone in my whole life. And then they start digging with setups, going back to this Jeanette prostitute, which I've already mentioned many times, where it wasn't sex, and then they go on about Wayne's World. When it came to this Wayne business, they started this in 2005 when I first moved to Bridgewater and West Street, and they started war on it, and that ended as soon as they started those setups. So they started these setups and then they suddenly ended it. There's too much going on at that time where people knew what was going on, they knew what attraction or whatever, it'd take a long story to explain, but the information has been mentioned, and it's in Deep Depression Life Story Pack, Volume 1, but whereabouts in there I do not know, because it's 12, 15 years ago when I did that specific Life Story Pack, because that's the earliest of them all, because I was mentioning stuff like, the problems in God's creation. Why do we step on insects? Why do underwater creatures urinate and defecate in the same water they eat and drink out of? Why do, this and that, basically. And so, it's back in the days when I was doing that. But even when I did that, I put my faith in God, chucked away somewhere between 100 and 300 sheets of the nastiest problems ever that occurred in a good year period, or 2-year period. When I chucked all those sheets away, I didn't bother, I just made a quick statement on the WordPad when I went into a computer technology on WordPad, and I just read all those 300 sheets as being 300 sheets of problems that I've experienced that have been really, really nasty, threats and everything like that, and left it at that and chucked those sheets away. When I chucked those sheets away praying to God, that's when my life got 50 times worse. So I thought, oh well, pointless, isn't it? And then obviously in the recent years I've gone to church, started praying, and then obviously as the stories I mentioned in recent times that are all on YouTube, life's just got worse and worse, and God doesn't give a fuck, and your life just gets nastier, and you get attacked nearly get killed. God takes a piss out of you with erections to loud bikes, or tries to map out a murder plan. So yeah, but with other people like Tim or whatever, he said he had to wait until he's 32, and God finally found him a girlfriend. And he said that's quite an old age to find a girlfriend. And he said, but God helped me, and God would never let me down. And he said that's just in 2 years. Well, I've been praying for 3 years before I gave up, and my life's just got worse and worse. And I'm 10 years on top of what age Tim was when he said it's a surprise that he had to wait until he was 32, and I'm 43 coming up 44. So just says it all, doesn't it? I've had to leave the church because having a funeral in the graveyard. What's happened is there's a girl aged 8 has passed away, and I don't want to be in the graveyard while they're going, while people are visiting to do a funeral, so I've had to leave. Right, so initially we have a load of black and blue cars, grey, white and whatever. There was a know-how van followed by an advanced air van, so they're basically telling me that they know in advance with what they're doing. Well, I think that's pretty obvious that they have no ethics science if you look at all the problems and setups that they're making, or suggestions that are being made. Right, for the last 5 minutes there's been a load of crow bird sounds coming out in a warped pattern, mentioning the same usual stuff that I mention most days when I'm mentioning these, what they're saying or whatever, same stuff. But before that, there was a loud bike tying to an erection, which is a 1960s or 1970s moped, sectoral, motorbike, whatever you want to call it. Right, there's a nut or something that's just collapsed out of the tree, which fell in front of me, but if I was just a couple of steps ahead, that would have fell on my head. I don't expect to see any cars going any further than where I am at the moment, because somewhere earlier in the time period that I've walked this road to coming back, there's a massive 5-foot branch that's fallen off the top of the tree into the middle of the road from a horse chestnut tree. I can't get down the path that I usually go back home on. Perverts being shouted from some rough people, teens, and actually it doesn't look like they're doing, I can't exactly see what they're doing, but you'd be standing there in a sort of position where it looks sexual, but like I said, I can't see for sure. I'm not going to enter that direction while they're kicking off. Well, as I've mentioned, I've had to go divert and go back to where I went to earlier, because they're blocking me going down the thing. I'm not going to go down there because it would cause arguments, shouting, and possibly go into a fight, and I don't have a knife on me. to protect myself if it goes into a vicious fight where I'm being smashed in with a knife or whatever. So I've had to change directions, though I'm not in a rush to go back anyway. I'm just not very happy about that this has to be the case. Right, so there's been molested Daisy or molested Sadie said when I've never had sex with Sadie Dando, both as a child or a female adult. Same with Ian Dando, same with Stephanie Hill or Stephanie Jill, same with Amy Weston, and same with many other names that I've mentioned or I can't think of at this minute in time. In actual fact, I'm accused of some of the girls that used to go to Sadie's house. Again, none of them have I shagged. You know, it's just on and on going with these threats. There's nothing I can do about it. And the government are choosing any possibilities they can to start war. I mean, they're starting on this Wayne business. Going back to this Wayne and Connie and Cassie and Lorraine Langford business, which is a load of nonsense as well. But Wayne in particular, there is a story that I need to explain with this, but that's in my Deep Depression Life story pack, and I can't do it now because there's people coming. Alright. I had to cut the story short, but if you go into My Life Deep Depression Story Pack, Volume 1, as I mentioned earlier on, all the information of that specific stuff when it comes to the Wayne issue is mentioned in there. Right, I just had a couple of threats, but I can't go in every single direction I've taken. As soon as I came off of that bridge to go onto the main area, every single roadway I've almost had to, apart from going from Hex's Hollow Lane down to the next road that goes to the graveyard and back in this direction, I've been diverted and pushed in the other direction on every single road because of construction governmental force causing people's movement to be around me in a corrupt fucking way. If it's not caused by the government, it's caused by the creator God who's being a fucking twisted buckled cunt. As I was saying the other day, 99.9% of all threats I've had in my life has been because of sexuality from the start of when I was born to this current day. And I still haven't had anyone in my whole life. If I had a weapon on me, to be prepared if a knife was going to be smashed right in my face, I would have passed those people, or teenagers or people that I couldn't pass earlier on. But I haven't got any weapons on me, so I can't. A crow keeps saying, you're being stabbed. Sick cunt being knifed, being shot dead. You raped her, child rapist, and repeating all that. I've had to change a battery 7 times now. Obviously I know about several batteries being flat already, but there's only 2 batteries left, so I've got to make sure that I can get home and mention the stories of the next load of problems later on before they go flat as well. I'm pretty sure the 2 that are in my pocket are pretty charged. However, I cannot guarantee that, so I'm going to have to be a bit more skimpy on the recordings and be a bit more mentioning it in brief rather than going in a full documentary about it. They're certainly turning this into a no-go area because every time literally almost every single road since I've been up here, they've diverted me or pushed me in the wrong direction. I've just made way for a family to get past. The chap's only in his sort of mid-20s, a tall chap, and he was polite. He said thank you for letting him pass. We had a girl aged about 7 who looks basically identical to the 3-year-old junglist that was on YouTube about 15 years ago. When I was looking, just generally looking as like when people were going past, I can tell you now that type don't like me. I had an evil look from that specific girl, just sort of looking, glimpsing as I passed. Right, for the last 5 minutes there's been about 14 loud bikes tying to a stretch. I'm about to pass the house called Old Mill something, on the edge of Stowford, just a road that you go down. If we go back several months ago, I can't remember when it was now, about 6 months or just before that, I was actually being mistaken as Savenne and being threatened I'm going to be fucking smashed in with a knife and have my life taken because of their mistakes on sexuality. Not only am I being pushed everywhere with force control everywhere I go around Barrack and surrounding areas, but I think you can safely say, as far as people passing me or the amount of people that are in my direction is concerned, is possibly record breaking. The only thing that I think that's stopping it be record breaking is the amount of people I've had in one specific area at the same time, which has recently occurred in 2024 as well. But any more people, it's going to be record breaking. Right, I'm at the main country road again. I had to let through a load of school children, so there's about 12 20 children or whatever, occupied by adults. One of those girls that was walking, one of the children that was in the school, children that walked past, looks identical to one of those girls that is on YouTube that has a rapture dream, or where she has seen Jesus Christ in a vision, or has been raptured secretly while having a near-death experience or out-of-body experience, or whatever it is that she had. Believe it or not, that specific type of girl, when she looked at me as I was passing, because I was letting them all pass and whatever, doesn't like me. So you can tell straight away. First glimpse, first impressions, as soon as she looked at me, she had that sort of look where I look like a piece of shit. So it's looking good for God's people, isn't it, when heaven exists, if it exists, and whoever goes in there is going to be like everyone hating each other, if such things exist. Regarding the same subject, there's two types of mentally handicapped women. Obviously they can be severe, and they can hardly walk, or they can hardly speak, or they can hardly do nothing. But if they're a sexual type, or they have soft skin, or they have smooth skin, and they're a type that men fancy, men will take on a severely disabled girl that's severely handicapped. A normal man, this is, not a person with mental disabilities or mental health issues. I've known there to be over 20 years difference in age between someone who is mentally handicapped and someone who is normal. And it's always the man that's older when they get in a relationship with the female that's mentally handicapped. Because most of these females that are sexual looking, that are mentally handicapped, are in sexual relationships. This means that all the men are single and still looking for a partner when they're in their 30s and their 40s. So what's happening is, apart from me of course, and maybe a couple of friends I know, because we're the type of people that have always been singled out and fucking hated all our lives, whether we're normal or not, what they do is, these people that are severely handicapped, that are male, is they're finding them these top model types of sexual looking girls that are helping these people that are mentally handicapped and allowing them to have a sexual relationship with them. And some females will allow that, even if they're only 18. They'll allow someone that's a vegetable to be in a relationship with someone in their 30s or 40s, and it's not seen as a problem. I haven't seen this in the last 5 years. It's not something I've seen recently. There have been issues where I've seen people in sexual relationships. Actually, there might have been an incident in the last... actually, yeah. I think there might have been a couple, but yeah, I forgot about these. I can just remember them now. There has been a couple, but there hasn't been many. There are single mentally handicapped women out there for normal people or mentally handicapped people to be in relationships with, but the ones that are single are always negative looking or have the appearance of negative attraction. So very similar to like this Lisa I keep on mentioning, the type that I can't stand the look of. They're always single, but that's only because normal people don't fancy them. The only reason that these people, these rough types of people, or these normal types of fellas are getting in relationships with these mentally handicapped, severe type, sexy looking females, the only reason they're doing this is because they're sexual looking. If they weren't sexual looking, these people wouldn't give a fuck about them. So, because many people found out about this, this is why you're seeing these Down syndromes and other people with other different mental disabilities being in relationships when they're in their 30s or 40s with sexual women that are only in their teens or early 20s, because they are finding them out, as they put it. That's the word they use, finding them out, because they don't have the ability to look for themselves. So these teenage female women and people in their 20s are helping these people that with these males with severe disabilities to go into a sexual relationship. And to what I've heard, or what I've been told, or whatever else, some of these teenage females say that these mentally disabled, handicapped, Down syndrome type people, these females find they're cute, and they tend to find that they're safe, and they don't mind going in a relationship with these men. So that's why they have to be found a normal female rather than a mentally disabled female, because they're all taken. Because I have Asperger's or autism, it counts as a mental disability, but not of the severe type. But you can also get Alzheimer's from it, and ADHD, whatever that is, as you get older, which means that you can get more confused, you can't think properly or stuff like that. But then again, if you were normal, I guess that would occur. But anyway, when it comes to people with autism, it works a little bit different to how I said like just now. Once again, all the sexual types of females that have the same mental disability as I have will be in sexual relationships, and you won't be able to get anyone, because all the rough types of people would have taken them. And even the basic attraction type are taken as well, and possibly some of the negative-ish type attraction that I don't take to are taken as well. But when it comes again to the Lisa Pike type, I don't like insulting her or using that name, but it's the only way I can refer to the type I don't take to. You'll find that they're always single. But when people have my sort of condition, or the mental health condition of autism or Asperger's, people don't tend to help you if you've got that specific mental problem. It seems to be the more severe type that are being helped, or being told they can go in sexual relationships. And even if you have autism, you're going to be the type that gets moaned at about age gaps, told that you're supposed to go with a negative type, or where people get violent and nasty with you. So that's the end of that. When it comes to schizophrenia, that can be a mixed disease, because there's normal people with schizophrenia, and there are people with other mental health disabilities with that specific problem. But a lot of people with schizophrenia are able to socialise, and many are in sexual relationships anyway, or have been in sexual relationships anyway, because their condition relates to them differently to people with other mental health conditions. And then obviously you've got normal problems with the older men, who are normal people that have developed mental health problems due to age and other related illnesses through time. But a lot of those people, because they've been normal in the past, they've had no problems of finding a person, or have never had issues with sexual relationships in the past, so they don't need to moan about being raped as a child and never having sex in their whole life, because they probably had sex as a teenager or someone in their 20s or 30s, and then obviously that counts as having someone, so they shouldn't be worrying about it if they've got no one now. But for those who have had nothing in their whole life and been sexually abused, then they should be entitled to something. But because we're in a modern time, you're treated like everybody else, and you're treated like a sick piece of shit. Even the police have treated me like a piece of shit and have accused me of being in sexual relationships and raping children, if we go back to 2006, which I wasn't very happy about, and I had to mention it to the mental health team back at that time because of the accusations that are being made, and I wasn't very happy about it. And this is also mentioned in my Deep Depression life story pack, in Deep Depression Pack 1. And obviously as time progressed, around 2011, 2012, the police started to become a bit more friendly and realised that a lot of the stuff that was going on or been said is not true. However, they seem to be a bit more one-sided since I moved from Burnham-on-Sea and come to Yeovil. Since I moved to Yeovil, there's a police car with, while approaching the catalytic converter hot point, that police car was an unmarked police car with the blue lights flashing. Believe it or not, if we go back some years ago, the police actually accused me of raping a specific name, which is a name basically an elder to me, an older person to me. I can't word it properly because I don't want to cause trouble. Where I live at Thorn House in Eastville and Yeovil, the CCTV camera's gone down many times, but there was a specific time when it wasn't down, right? And they had to put the police in place. If I can stop being choked out by a fucking cat. Right, so what happened is the police came around making accusations that I could be responsible for raping a girl that's just occurred on a specific night at a specific time. So what happened is the staff had to back me up with the CCTV recorded evidence to confirm where I was on that specific night, and then obviously they got rid of the police because obviously they saw where I was at that exact time. They knew I was in the building at that exact time, and the police wanted to arrest me. So the police haven't been that great in recent times. At the time and the place this rape took place, believe it or not, I was actually in the staff office speaking to the staff on that specific evening, mentioning my day's problems at 6:30 p.m. going back to 2022. Between roughly 2012 till I moved to Yeovil in late 2021, the police seem to be a bit more favourable on my side about the situation of the threats and the stuff that people make up about me on sexuality. However, there's this one specific thing which occurred in 2017 which is not true, and I was talking to someone about this in authority, but I'm not going to give information or details of who it was because I don't want to get this person in trouble. Even though the person didn't really tell me as such, the hint was there if I could interpret it in that way. So, you know, I mean, he could have accidentally sort of nearly said it and he came to a stop. But either way, nothing was said, no problem, no one should get in trouble for whatever. But the hint was made that the police don't really want you here, to be fair. You know, that sort of suggestion. Take that one thing away, I've had no issues with the police since that time. And this was the time I was moaning about loud bikes tying to erections to 10 Downing Street where they reported me. And I was mentioning I was being accused of raping children off the street with the suggestion of setups that are occurring, and this is the sort of setup that's occurring today, except it's 4 times nastier and 4 times heavier and much more malicious than what it's ever been before since the lockdown. So it's in setups of these construction forces of traffic wording on vehicles and other things. And I've also been in trouble with Amy Weston reporting me to the police as well, which almost landed me in trouble for the same problem because of these setups. I was mentioning her name in the setups, and I'm redoing that now in fact, but you know, they're getting nasty about it. They stopped it as soon as that time came and that Amy Weston business occurred in setups. As soon as she reported me and all the rest of it, this name or this Amy suggestion went to almost nothing. But after that lockdown, and we came out of all the lockdowns and this setup was reconstructed again, they brought up her name and they increased all these setups as nasty as they've ever set it up before. Right, so I might as well mention the weather since there's been about 50 cloud covers, but most of those cloud covers that have blocked the sun for a few seconds has been no more than 5 to 10 seconds, with a maximum of about 20 seconds. Take that away, it's been sunny all day. Where I've been, it's just been blue skies and sunshine, but there is a lot of cloud about in other areas that's away from me. So in some ways, I'm being cursed with the blue skies and sunshine in the same way as that Laura curse gives that man sex in that painting, that symbolic painting. But that's not going to happen with me because I'm violated. But I'm being violated nastily with the sunshine, but it doesn't come with the sexy Lauren or replacement of Lauren, as it gets replaced with the suggestion that you don't have sex at all, or the suggestion that you're supposed to be with someone who sexually abused you as a child, as I'm being violated with God's creation being twisted against me in that way, or big well-known paintings that are making this suggestion to go against me. They've decided to put the balls in the field, so if they chase I wouldn't be very fucking happy. 1981 t-shirt, which is the actual year I was born, and then there's a 2 late van, but it's not spelled T-O-O and then late, it's the number 2 and late on the side of a van. And as I approach this road, about 30 seconds, 40 seconds ago, they need to time a grannies for you van, just to be fucking spiteful. I've not seen this van for a long time, but it's occurred. They want to take the piss out of me, as they always do. But there's a picture of grannies on Zimmer frame in the sky or in heaven, with like several pictures that are drawn on that van with that suggestion. Right, there's been some colliding, choked by catalytic converter stench, and the granny gas van. Learner car and sim colour car. Red, white, blue car trying to hit me. Right, so there's been rough people my way, and then a Mr. Zippy top, then a Zimmer frame times out of a bollock of flats, white sick cars and red, white, black and blue or whatever. Drain covers it over and choked by catalytic converter. Right, sick over drain, black, sick, timed, sick, white, timed, choked by catalyst, sick, white. Robbery looking vehicle, G's van, penis up motorbike my way, drain covers it over, and about 200 cars my way, 90% set up to the suggestion of the colour cars or whatever interpretation it makes, like knife shaped or gun shaped. Right, there's been 6 drain covers that have loudly been hit over, deliberately timed on purpose, followed by a lights down the drain van. Right, the government need me hit off. The government are getting very, very fucking nasty at the moment. They need to get rid of me. They need to rid me as fast as they possibly can. So they need to time a van to smash into me coming out of the road. They need to hit me off. Well, I don't know what the reason is, but they need to get rid of me. They're making it clear they're fucking going on wrong. They need to rid me. Drain cover hit over. Right, spit talking over me and dribbling wet bowl whistles all over me, trying to pay for my stuff with spit talking. The spit from the whistling drops off someone's mouth and lands on my cheek. Duffield van AJN. Car trying to hit me. Choked by catalytic converter stench. Crow. Haha. Grannies for you van again. Right, come back to my place and Justin, burn you, child molester said from someone outside in the gardens above the other side. But the problem is, the only sex I've had in my life is being sexually abused as a child. And I don't take it very fucking nicely when I'm being told I've been a fucking child abuser, rapist and woman beater or whatever. I just had a quick look out the window to see what choppy bastard is mouthing off at me. It seems to be several people out there, and there's all the fucking roughneck hard type of people that grow beards, and the type of people that slam knives in people's fucking faces and smash their fucking head off and knife them to the fucking floor and beat their fucking face apart and smash all their fucking teeth out. But the problem is, 2 of those people that are out there, I don't know who said it, but one of them's with a sexual lady who's a blonde, sexual, smooth skin type of child looking face. The type they're all with, and yet I'm the one that's being nailed as a sick cunt and a fucking rapist and a woman beater and the rest of it. So I'm not exactly very fucking happy at the moment to be told that as soon as I come back in. Now a sequel saying, child molester Justin shot dead. Right, someone outside has said he'd been saying fuck all when all his fucking teeth are broken. And there's a few bits of banging in sequence to threats. But I know it's not one neighbour, because this one neighbour's going for a coffee with one of the staff members. So it's, I know it's not that neighbour. Being stabbed, said from outside, and they're really bringing that R out in the accent. So he's saying, he's a child molester, I'll bash his head in, I'll break his legs, I'll bash him with a bar. You know, that sort of stuff. They're bringing that R out in that sort of posh accent. I don't know why they're doing it. And obviously someone outside thinks I'm nicknamed Tiger, which is another mistake that people are mistaking, because I've never been nicknamed that person. And there's been a couple of people doing this stupid laugh in the same way as if going ha ha ha, with that R, bringing that R out in the laugh. So that's been occurring as well. The 9th battery's gone flat. Anyway, going back to these threats, they're not taking into account all these people that are fucking nailing me as a sick bastard, threatening to murder me, manslaughter me, smash me in with a knife, to rip my fucking heart out, or to inject me with a needle, or to burn me with radiation, or whatever they want to do. They're not taking into account that they've had sex in their teens, 20s and 30s, and possibly younger in their teens, some of them. And yet I'm the one that's nailed as a sick bastard when I've had nothing at all in my whole life. And I'm 43 years of age, coming up 44, so I shouldn't be putting up with this. And obviously I've lost my temper this year, and obviously the worse my life gets, the nastier I'll get. That's it, of course, if I'm not smashed up in a fucking hospital bed, where God can take the piss out of me and laugh at me being raped as a child and reversing the consequences to come back at me, yeah. So I'll leave it there. Someone says when I can guarantee that he's been burgled and he's off the internet and he doesn't have his phone on him anymore, we're going to be fucking kicking off, making his life a fucking misery and making it clear that the grounds of sexuality will have not had anyone in my whole life. And also they said this is just the start of things to come. I was told this 20 years ago, and as it gets worse and worse, and it comes out true, you know, when these sorts of things happen. But that's what they're saying again. Life is a vicious circle. I mean, the other day, we had one life, live it car. And then, when I had a barrack last time, in the places where I've been diverted today, when I've done walks or whatever through Yeovil today, and the other thing is, that annoy me. Just last week, they were timing a lookalike to someone who sexually abused me as a child, timed to an erection, followed by a baby being bounced in a sling on a fat person's tummy, where the baby looks tiny compared to this massive, huge belly, where the baby's being popped about and bounced about in a sling. As this occurred, a seagull's going ha ha ha, and then there was a T-shirt saying "Make love, not war," followed by another T-shirt saying "Love is age is just a number. It's love that counts." And then after that, there's another T-shirt or something like that that says, "If you're over 50 is too old," or something like that. I can't remember what it is. And those 3 T-shirts are from the same manufacturing company, and they're fresh, new batch T-shirts that are being issued to the public to wear at this minute in time. But they choose the age of 50, not to have sex over the age of 50, or don't look at anyone over the 50, knowing that I'm going to be that age in just over 5 years' time. So they're pre-planning it, the government are pre-planning it, or the creator God's fallen against me, because God wants me fucking sexually slaughtered, knifed to death, and ripped to fucking pieces. I mean, in my last life I was sexually abused and stopped from getting sex, full stop. Past life clairvoyant reader told me that I worked in a laboratory and I was raped as a girl in my last life, and I was made pregnant when I was raped as a girl in my last life as a child, and stopped from getting anyone when I was an adult, and died tragically by, which could be murder, when I was in my early 20s in my last life as a female, and I was working in a lab, to what this clairvoyant past life reading said. In this life, she said it's going to get much better, but it hasn't. It's ended up the same. And obviously, when I'm born again, Jesus Christ is going to make sure I'm on the kitchen floor and he's going to rake the guts in and out of me, making me feel like water jelly, stopping me get sex in my next life by causing a cobra to bite me or something. So, nothing I can do about it. The Creator's fallen.